Greetings, Legionnaires, and welcome to another movie commentary. My name is Jimmy, and I am joined once again by my friend Levi. Levi, how are you?
Hey guys, part 2.
Part 2. Yes, we did Wonder Woman, and then I asked our Legionnaires what they wanted to see next, and Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice came up, and we are watching the Ultimate Edition. So if you want to watch along with us, I've got some fun facts. Levi has some fun commentary. It's going to be a good time. But we're sitting at, fun. We're sitting at like 20 seconds right now. We're looking at the Warner Brothers logo. There's some leaves flying past it. And on the count of 3, Levi and I are going to start it up together. Are you ready, Levi?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. 1, 2, 3. We're off. Levi, I have not seen this movie for a long time. I'll be honest.
I have seen this film once.
You saw it once? Oh, you saw it in theaters then.
Once. No, maybe. God, I don't remember. 2016. Oh, yeah. Did we see it together or no?
I don't think so. I think I saw it with Joe. I think.
Yeah, I think I saw it on Plex or something, like when it came out.
This is interesting because we know how this movie ends. Spoiler alert. It was also with another coffin, so this is very kind of cyclical in a way, which is great. But how many times have we seen the origin of Bruce Wayne at this point? Like, I feel like it's not been that many, but it's been enough where it's like, yep.
Yeah, this actually is a decent way to do it. Make it quick, and because you already know what's going on, so it's like, cool. Let's make it happen. Let's get into the movie.
Apparently, Jeffrey Dean Morgan was being eyed or talked to about doing playing Batman if they did like Dark Knight Returns, like playing like an older Batman, or I think it would have been cool if they did, in Flashpoint, if he becomes, the actual Batman, because in Flashpoint, like Bruce Wayne dies and then his dad becomes Batman with guns and his mom becomes the Joker. I think that would be really interesting to explore. But
yeah, it's funny. You really speed up this part of the movie, but then you have a bunch of filler. Okay.
Yeah, this moves pretty quickly because I think they knew most people understood the origin of Bruce Wayne and Batman, and they didn't give him a solo film, so they just kind of put it in this opening, which I think is kind of smart, Yeah,
it's smart. It's like, really?
And we start to see some kind of weird things here as far as imagery goes, because, like, there's Bruce being protected here, and his dad goes to stop this guy, but then his mom somehow gets her necklace, like, entwined in the gun. You'll see it's kind of odd. I don't know. Very artistic, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's very stylish, Yeah. It's very Watchmen-esque. Yeah, this. It's like, wait, what? One thing I do really like, though, coming up here with Bruce is, like, he falls down this well, which he always falls down a well and somehow doesn't, like, die or break a leg forever or whatever. But you start to see, like, something a little different with Batman is a little bit more of, like, the mythos of Batman. Like, and maybe, like, the lore. Like, he doesn't have superpowers here, but you can almost be forgiven for thinking he does, because he kind of starts to hover soon.
Yeah. I do like the scene with the beads.
They always have to do that.
Yeah.
Now, apparently Excalibur, that's up there on the movie screen, or on the marquee, that is supposed to be kind of this story. It's supposed to be tied into, like, King Arthur somehow, kind of, sort of. I'm not sure.
Can you remind me, is this 2 in the
Technically,
DCU?
yes. This is 2.
Man of Steel was first, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you'll see soon here how that ties in. Also, I looked this up, and it was always kind of weird to me. It says Batman v Superman. And apparently in court cases, the V is there for the person who is basically prosecuting against somebody else, so that it's supposed to be like Batman is going after Superman. And that's why it's not versus, it's just V. I thought that was
and everybody always called it Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, there's like, no, it's just like Batman v Superman. Like, and it is versus, but they didn't put the VS or whatever else. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, where he gets kind of lifted up by the bats. And again, this is more of, I think, in his mind,
Yeah, this is just an artistic vision. It's not.
But I do appreciate it a little bit, because you're like, oh, this is like his fear lifts him up, I remember Joe in theaters getting so angry about this. He's like, "What is happening?" Now, apparently, this movie got a standing ovation from the Warner Brothers executives who saw it, like the rough draft of it the first time. And now this is the Ultimate Edition, so I'm not sure how much more we're going to get. There's a few extra things, but they didn't see that version, I don't believe.
Oh, is this the Ultimate Edition?
This should be, yeah.
Okay.
I do love this introduction because it paints Man of Steel's finale in a different way. And I think it's so cool, because I really do like Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne in Batman. I really do. Oh, man, I like this music, too. Hans Zimmer, I think, does a really good job more often than not. He's good.
Who knows? Maybe I'll end up liking it this time around.
I hope so.
I just remember the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, man, what the frick?
Yeah. I feel like he should have made that call a long time ago. Yeah. Like the second I saw that, alien spacecraft, I'd be like, time to get out of the city. Let's go.
Who is attacking here?
So this is Zod, and he has these, basically these kind of planet makers that are going to change the atmosphere and like destroy, all the world. I still think Zod. So this is
picking up from the end of Man of Steel?
This is during Man of Steel, technically. Man of Steel, okay. The finale. You'll start to see here moments where Superman is shown very briefly.
Gotcha.
And it also does a good job of kind of like... So they've already set up Bruce, in the intro, which was nice.
Oh, but, look at that.
Just take it out.
Like butter.
Like butter. Hot knife through butter. But now this is going to give him the reason why he hates Superman. And I like that. They're moving quickly, right? I still wish I could have gotten like a Batman standalone, but...
Yeah.
I don't know why they're all just standing there. I'd just be running. Like, gotta get out of here.
Do you think that's an armored vehicle he's in?
I don't know. I think it might just be a company car. But it is cool to see him just go into danger without, his suit or his Batmobile or anything. I like the gray temples on him. I think it's cool. A little bit of an older, kind of frustrated Batman.
So what did he want him to do? Bring the spaceship away or what?
What did, people wanted Superman to do? Is that the...
No, Batman. What did he want Superman to do? Like, not have the spaceship blow up there or what?
I think he basically just wishes Superman wasn't here. Because you can clearly see the collateral damage.
Yep.
Poor Jack.
Oh, he's dead. Who is Jack?
Jack was just like one of his people who worked at Wayne Tower. Yeah. It's not like Lucius Fox or something. That would have been even worse. Oh my gosh. I actually just analyzed this fight scene for a video I did a while back about Marvel's version of Superman, and the fight scene at the end of Man of Steel is actually a really good kind of case study of how you do acceleration.
Is he Batman right now?
No, yeah, he's technically he's been.
I mean, is he Bruce Wayne, or has he figured out how to be the Batman yet? Okay,
he's been the Batman. I think basically what we get here is we see that he's been Batman for a long time, but right now he's just Bruce. Which again makes more sense because if Batman would have showed up to this, it might have been a little weird, and he wouldn't have been able to help too much.
Oh god. It's kind of graphic.
This guy comes back into play. Don't forget this guy. That's cool because they show that Bruce Wayne is a hero. I kind of wish some people would be surprised because he's kind of like a playboy and kind of a jerk, usually.
Yeah.
But he's just he's a nice guy. You know what? She reminds me of the little kid from Spider-Man. Anybody remember him in the parade sequence?
Yeah.
And he's just standing there. He's like, "Move, kid, move."
I was thinking of Pacific Rim.
Oh, dude,
the
for
little
sure.
girl that's like
Yeah.
being attacked by the kaiju. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
That's a decent movie. Not to get off track, but
no, Pacific Rim's great, dude. I would love to go back and watch that. If anybody wants a commentary, let us know.
I think I saw the sequel and it was really dumb.
It's fine. I don't know. The first one is just so like Guillermo del Toro did such a great job.
Yeah. CGI is pretty decent so far.
Yeah. Man, I miss Zod. He was my favorite. Yeah. Again, compelling opening.
18 months later. You're going to have to lay these movies down for me again. It goes Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman.
Yep.
Then Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman because it kind of takes place after this one, insofar as like the modern day stuff. But Wonder Woman takes place it's like First Avenger. It takes place way, way before all this.
Okay.
You know.
And then where does like the not Justice League but Suicide Squad, where does that fit in?
Suicide Squad fits in here. I don't know exactly where it takes place. I think it's after Man of Steel, technically.
Gotcha.
But just because they're kind of doing their own thing, it could be running simultaneously with it. And I'm sure someone out there could be like, no, it happens at this moment. But and then Aquaman happens like right after Justice League because they reference Steppenwolf and all that stuff.
You think we're ever going to get a Cyborg movie?
They've been working on it. Also, the Flash movie. I don't know, man. Like, it'd be nice if they did.
There's a little bit of controversy with that actor.
Yeah, I know he was fighting to get
Ray Fisher or whatever.
Yeah. Some acknowledgement for some of the issues they were having on set potentially, and which is you never want to hear that stuff. It's too bad.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, this is where it gets a little confusing, I think, because there's like this secret like Middle East Black Ops type of thing, or Africa thing, and then Superman shows up, and then they try to frame Superman for killing these people, but he doesn't.
I don't hate her as Lois Lane. I kind of like her.
I don't mind her. I know this sounds stupid. I just wish her hair was black. I know it's dumb.
Yeah. I understand. But I like her sass.
She's very sassy. Now, I think this movie is the one that people kind of say that Superman's the most sullen and kind of sad. He actually doesn't have a lot of speaking lines in this movie.
Yeah.
But I'll also see if that's still the case here. Also, one thing, and it's very, purposeful, and this is a Zack Snyder thing as well, and DC on top of it, but the look is very different than Marvel. Like, you can tell right here, it's just so, like, kind of muted and kind of gritty, right?
Yeah.
So that's Jimmy Olsen, but he's also a CIA operative. Why are you using a film there, Jimmy? Go digital. It like hurts my heart to know that he wasted all that film.
Oh, as a cameraman? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh no. I hate to see any technology ever get destroyed. Like when someone like breaks a monitor.
Oh.
Okay, also like your little beeping device, just like, could they make one that doesn't beep? He's a photographer. He couldn't be CIA. I don't know why they decided to make Jimmy Olsen like a spy.
Oh. Oh. Ouch.
Talon and Python. Such cool names.
Gotta love people when they are always obeying or disobeying orders.
Yeah, it makes them more interesting, right? Even though these guys, I think, are pretty inconsequential. Lois, I know you want to get these really good scoops, but man, there's probably some other places you could go. You know, it's very dangerous. So that's KG Beast. Apparently, that's his like comic name.
Yeah, I guess I was confused, like who's on what side. And
so basically, and this is kind of a spoiler, but all those guys dressed in black are working for Lex Luthor.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And so basically, they're shooting all these people, and they're gonna light them on fire, and they're gonna say Superman did it. Even though if you were to get like an autopsy on these guys, which I'm not sure if they ever do get a chance to do, you would see that there were bullets clearly in them, and Superman didn't do this. You know.
Oh, because they know Superman's gonna save her?
Yeah, Lex figured that Superman was going to roll in, even though you'd think he'd already be there by now. It's tricky. Superman's hard to ride around because he's so powerful.
Yeah. What was the last Superman movie before Man of Steel?
Superman Returns, I believe, with Brandon Routh. Do you remember that one?
How old is that?
Ooh, that was, I don't even know, back mid 2000s or something. It's cool to see him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how this works, though, physics-wise, because he's holding on to her, and she kind of lets go of him. And it must be in such a quick motion that he ungrapples this guy. You know?
Yeah.
But that guy's for sure dead, right? Like...
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody's like, Batman, he's killing people, it's like, Superman's killing some people, too. Not that Superman is ever usually against that sort of thing.
Well, it's funny how in Christopher Nolan's Batman, he would never kill. And in this one, he's just like... he takes like a gun and just starts shooting people.
Oh, totally, yeah. And even though like in older Batman stuff, Batman has killed plenty, and apparently they were talking about doing kind of tie-in with the Dark Knight into this world, but Zack Snyder was the one who kind of was like, no, I want these to be separate things. Even though, as much I love Ben Affleck, he's really good at this. I think Christian Bale, I would just love to see him back, as Batman. Like, it would have been so cool to see him. Like, but it would have been a very different threat. Like, Bane was one thing, but Superman is a very different thing, So I don't know now if, like, the CIA operatives think that, like, Superman was the one that killed all those people because they were on fire. Like, why would he do that? She's a good actress. And by the way, this actress here, is it Holly Hunt or Holly Hunter? She is the voice of Elastigirl.
Oh. Oh, yeah. I can hear it.
Yeah, she's great. I love her. I really like Elastigirl. So I don't know if this Metropolis Gotham thing is like a joke about Superman versus Batman. I don't know.
Did he just say once again Metropolis blowing up Gotham City?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is that foreshadowing?
I don't know, yeah. 58-0, that'd be nuts. Now, when I saw this, I thought this was going to be the Cyborg introduction. Or they were going to kind of hint towards him in this. You know?
Yeah.
They were going to be like, oh, like, he's kind of in there. But no. Unfortunately not. There's a lot going on in this movie.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
I started watching The Hobbit again. I don't know what compelled me to do so, but those movies have a lot going on as well. And I think it just, I don't know.
That's so funny you said that. I just downloaded a fan edit that like condenses it into like 4 hours.
Oh,
and I'm
nice.
going to watch it soon.
Cool. You have to let me know what that is. I know that Topher Grace did that when he was working on Black Klansman because he was playing like some sort of Nazi leader, and he was like, well, to keep myself sane, I decided I just sit down and try to edit the movie, all those 3 movies into one movie. I was like, oh, that's so fun. Like, cool, good for you. See, Superman had his cool moment in the beginning, and now Batman kind of gets his cool moment here too.
Mm-hmm.
The real question is, how does he do this? I have a lot of physics questions in this film. I'm okay with it. I want to know. I think it is kind of too bad we didn't get to see Ben Affleck get his own standalone Batman movie, because I would have been really interested in that. Not that Robert Pattinson will be bad. That'll be good too. But this Batman is kind of different. There's something about him. He's very scary. Which, yeah, that begs the question. Levi, who's your favorite DC hero?
I think you've asked me that before.
Yeah, I know if it changed.
It's hard because I'm not really drawn to like a lot of them. I like Wonder Woman. I like Green Lantern. But I like Green Lantern in the cartoon Justice League most of all. Okay. He's really cool.
Fair enough.
I don't like Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, I'd say Green Lantern, Wonder Woman.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of other. I don't care for the Flash. I think the Flash is kind of stupid, actually. He can just run really fast, and
he's got a fun TV show.
I love how crazy fast he just scuttles along there.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's got like a grapple or something, but I do like that, even though I don't understand it, because it's like, whoa, what the heck is Batman? Like, he's really scary.
So they're saying it saved us? Do they mean from that guy?
Yeah, so they basically mean that Batman saved them from these people. The weird thing is this brand, and they go into it more in this Ultimate Edition, because in the regular movie they don't, but he's branding people for a certain reason, but people think he's like branding them and they go to prison and then they get killed in prison.
Oh.
Because of the brand. But
well, that would make sense, but
it's kind of a weird Batman thing to do, but
yeah.
Anyway, back to Flash. I like his TV show, and he can do more than just run really fast, but I understand where it's like, yeah, he might not be as compelling as some of these other heroes. But I get you. Lois, that tub is going to overflow. Yeah, they actually gave Lois some interesting stuff to do in this movie because she's kind of the one who figures out that this is Lex Luthor and he's a dummy because he used like his own bullets, or something like that. It's like, why would you do that? Just hanging out in a bathtub with a bullet. So apparently, fun little fact number 1, Henry Cavill was so kind of impressed or enjoyed his physique and the regiment after Man of Steel that he kept it up. So when it came time for this movie, he was like kind of ready to go almost.
Oh, and he's buff in, God, what is it?
Witcher?
No, that too, but what's the other movie that he's the villain in?
Oh, you're talking about Fallout.
Fallout, yeah. I gotta watch that again. That's a good movie.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
He was a good villain in that movie.
Yes, he was.
I still haven't seen The Witcher.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't, no. Do you like it? Is it good?
Yeah, it's alright. I don't know. It's not that it was bad. Joe loved it, but I was like, it's okay. I thought it had the budget and there's a lot of good things going on in it. I just wanted more monster hunting. I think he's a great Clark Kent / Superman. I think he does a good job.
Speaking of monster hunting.
What about it? Oh, Monster Hunter, the movie?
Yeah, I'm nervous.
I'm interested, but...
interested but nervous. That's what, yeah.
I don't like that he does this, because I think of, like, wet pants. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to clean that all up. I know it's spontaneous and passionate, but just think about the future. Yeah. It'd be great if she was like scraping her nails across them and it just sounded like nails on a chalkboard because it was like steel.
Yeah.
So the thing that makes me
fingernails.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's probably a thing. They talk about it later, I think, that they've been doing this for like 20 years. And then they show the Robin suit here. He's been doing this for a bit.
I suppose there isn't a Robin, is there? Huh.
No, not in this one.
But they have a suit for him?
You'll see it coming up here, I think.
Yeah.
This is a sleek Batcave. I don't mind it. What do you think of Jeremy Irons? I really like him.
What else is he in?
He was the voice of Scar. He was in the Assassin's Creed movie. Amongst many other things.
Okay. Yeah. Mufasa.
Apparently he blew out his voice trying to sing Be Prepared, so they had to bring somebody else in.
Really? So that dude is in Captain America, right?
Which guy?
The guy they're looking at on the TV screen. He looks like one of the guys from Captain America. One of the people from S.H.I.E.L.D. or Hydra. That are trying to be S.H.I.E.L.D.?
He might be. Yeah, he might be in Winter Soldier, potentially.
All those guys kind of look the same. Those Army, CIA, SWAT guys.
Yeah, slick back hair.
Yeah.
Gods hurl thunderbolts. I don't know who they're referring to there. That might be Shazam.
Oh, could be. Oh, I always forget about that movie. Where does that fit in here?
Shazam happens after at least Man of Steel. Might be after Justice League.
I do like that movie. I feel like it's kind of underrated.
Yeah, it's fun. Oh, apparently, now that Jesse Eisenberg's here, he was originally cast as Jimmy Olsen before getting switched over to Lex Luthor, which I think is very fascinating.
Ugh, God. I just don't like this. You should have brought in Michael Rosenbaum.
Oh, that would have been great. I would have loved that, and I get why they didn't, just because it would have been like, oh, is this in like, the Smallville universe or whatever?
Get it.
But I get what they were going for, was this kind of like, multimedia corporation kind of guy. That was a little bit different than other Lex Luthors in the past, but I don't know. You got to give it to him. He's going all in on it.
Yeah.
I love how creepy this is. They're like, yep, we're just ripping into this corpse, and it works. That's a lot of kryptonite.
Yep.
The trick with kryptonite...
because that's where his ship crashed, right?
Yeah, that was the one in the Indian Ocean. That was the other planetary device. But, like, introducing kryptonite is something they had to do in this movie, right? But they do it sparingly, which is good, because it gets tricky with Superman if everybody has access to kryptonite,
Oh, yeah. Because then kryptonite becomes the villain instead of a villain.
A little bit.
Can never understand why Lex hates Superman so much.
Lex, I think the reason it kind of varies from like mythos to mythos, or like the TV series versus like the movies. A lot of it's usually like power, or like he became the strongest, like most intelligent person, I should say, on the planet, and the only person that can usually kind of ruin his plans and machinations is Superman. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
I like Lex Luthor as a character, just in general, because I think he's interesting. He's just like a regular human who's just really smart. He's like
that's what I love about Smallville, is like they're friends, and then they're like,
yeah,
I
think that's more compelling too, because usually Lex and Superman aren't like buddies, but in that show you feel bad, because you're like, oh, like you want them to be friends and not fight. Kudos to Hans Zimmer for making a cool Lex score, though. Like, he's really trying here.
I'll give it to him. Nice.
This gets a little weird with the Jolly Rancher.
I don't know, Jimmy. I just don't. I liked him in Social Network. And I liked him in Catch Me Later or whatever.
Catch Me? Oh, you're talking about Now You See Me.
Now You See Me, yeah.
Sure.
God, that looks like it hurts.
Yeah, it does look painful. Did you see how he like motioned the camera forward basically, and then stopped, and then the camera stopped? That was interesting. Yeah, just weird. I don't know why they make him do that.
Because he's kind of psycho a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
Was he in Man of Steel a lot?
He's not in Man of Steel at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Even at the end?
Not that I remember.
Wow.
Superman, you gotta turn the TV off, buddy. Also, how does Superman shave? How do you think he shaves?
I don't know. Good question.
Because he had a beard in Man of Steel. Is it with the laser? Is there a mirror involved? You know what I mean? Like he's staring at himself in the mirror and he's like shooting lasers. Okay, this is the guy in the beginning. Remember, he's like, you're the boss.
Yep.
With the wheelchair.
He's mad at Bruce Wayne, or he's
mad at Superman. Because it's interesting that, like, the city erected this monument to him after all that happened, but there's still a lot of people who just, like, hate him for existing, so I don't know who erected the statue. Or if it was Lex who did it. I don't remember. Again, this is not something you'd see in your, like, typical superhero films, so I'm not, like, surprised that they went with this direction. Oh, dude. Don't assault a police officer. Oh, yeah. I always forget that Lawrence Fishburne's in this, but I really like Lawrence Fishburne.
God, he's so... I think my favorite role is him in John Wick. Fucking love him.
He's so, like, the Rat King or the Garbage King or whatever he is.
Love that.
Like, yeah. He's just so weird, and I like how different he is than he was as Morpheus in that movie.
Yeah.
Because he could have easily just been another Morpheus, but no.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah, he's very good. Poor Clark. I feel like a lot of this is just Clark being sad. Poor guy. He's like model-esque. Like, he's just sitting there. He's like, yeah, I'm just, a reporter. I'm like, Clark, there's some other work out there if you want it.
Did I just see two guys making out? That was random.
I thought so. I was looking at that. There you go.
Random.
They saw Henry Cavill and they're just like, man.
Yeah.
Good looking dude. He has that effect on anybody. People who don't know each other.
He is supposed to change in... Is that Spider-Man or is that Superman that changes in telephone booths?
It is usually Spider-Man. Or sorry, It is usually Superman.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
So that might have been an homage.
What am I thinking of? Like the old cartoons?
Maybe, yeah. This is part of the Ultimate Edition stuff.
Yeah.
This is the extra stuff I think they cut for the theatrical version.
Gotcha.
You got to give it to him for a visual style and imagery to the film that, like, tells you stuff just by showing it to you without actually saying it. I also love that Bruce tells him what to do here and he wins.
Oh.
I like that Bruce is in these, like, underground fighting rings. It's like, what are you doing, Bruce? Like, obviously he's checking up on KG Beast, but... Could you imagine getting a neck tattoo like that, like, over your Adam's apple? Oh my gosh. No. What's up with the Bruce Wayne and, like, loving, like, Russian ballerinas? Like, that's also in the Dark Knight trilogy too. I got him.
I love that.
I think a lot of people call him Smallville, but it also just makes you think of the show, right?
I
It's
just
like,
fucking, I love that show so much.
I just like Perry. He's good. And it is a little more understandable. It's a little more understandable here that like Clark is kind of more interested in Batman because he's doing all this stuff that he's, interested in. Kind of helps it. Ouch, man.
Damn, that woman's tall. Holy shit.
She is. This room is crazy. Like, there's so much going on in here. I like it. Except for all the dead animals.
Yeah. She kind of reminds me of like an older Jennifer Aniston. Do you get that vibe at all?
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, yeah, that's great. I understand what you mean. Like the look and stuff. Yeah. And a little bit of her mannerisms. That's kind of the caveat, too, here, is I don't know if that, like, he's Lex Jr.
Or Riddler.
That way they could still doing, like, yeah, or Riddler. Or they could still do, like, a Lex Sr. if it didn't work out,
Wasn't there, like, a Riddler Easter egg somewhere? Where was that?
You'll see it later on.
Oh, okay. Was it in here? Is that supposed to be him? Do we know who's going to be the Riddler?
No, I don't think they're going to do it. They were going to originally, I think, do that. And potentially Joker, but they decided not to.
I heard when they do the recuts or the reshoots for the Zack Snyder Justice League, they're going to use Jared Leto a bit.
Yes, I heard that he was going to be in there, which is interesting.
He was pretty upset about the new Joker movie without him. They just didn't handle that character very well. I thought he was a good Joker, but he was different.
Yeah. We didn't get enough of him, I don't think.
No,
it's hard to tell.
They shot a lot of him. Like, why did they cut it out,
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, this weird exchange between these two, it's like unsettling, and then it comes back later on where she talks about, like, you could pee in a jar and call it Granny's sweet tea, but I still know that what it is.
Yeah.
And that comes back, but it's like, it's just odd. It's just weird. Again, such like sad imagery.
It's crazy that his parents are buried on the grounds, like in their own mausoleum.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's just how the Waynes have always done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, we got money, we bury in our own cemetery. Do you do this where you see like ages in movies like this and you try to calculate it? Look at it.
I try, but I'm like, my math sucks. I can't.
I just like look at it for a second, like, oh yeah. So this is kind of a callback to some comic stuff, and also this was in the Val Kilmer Batman that got cut, but like a big bat. But yeah, there's a lot of like, is Bruce losing his mind? Yeah, the Val Kilmer Batman from a while ago.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Oh, is this where he starts having visions or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that. Yeah. I thought it was kind of weird.
Good thing he didn't wake up his sleeping companion there, because like, what would you say? I'd be like, I'm sorry, I was having this dream about my dead parents in the mausoleum over there, and the bat attacked me. It was a big one. Is that a blood coming out of the That's whatever.
It's funny. He doesn't strike me as much of a playboy in this.
Yeah, I think they do this because usually I've always thought like the point with Bruce Wayne is like he's a joking playboy because like he was like, oh, I'm leaving with like 3 women, and then he just like takes them home to like their homes, and he's just like, I gotta get back to work, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like funny to show this for like one of the first times. It's probably happened before though. I do like that he is very disenfranchised and he's a bit older, you know, but he's still kind of like, I'm doing whatever I want to do. I don't care.
God, what that one dude though was the best Alfred. Oh, he just fit that scene, like that role perfectly.
You talking about Michael Caine?
Yes.
He's a good Alfred. There's so much stuff in here where like your mind has to put together what Batman did or does. And I like that, but I would love to just see more of it. Because like we've talked about, this Batman moves in a way kind of like the Arkham games where it's hard to comprehend how fast he can move sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
So how do you feel about Robert Pattinson being the new Batman, and then Ben Affleck and then Michael Keaton are also going to be in?
Yeah.
What?
It's so much for like Flashpoint stuff. Oh yeah, there's the old Robin outfit.
What does that say?
It said like the joke's on you. And basically I think it's alluding to like Jason Todd. Like if like Joker beat him to death in this world, and maybe Jason Todd exists and Red Hood could have come into it at some point. I don't know.
I wasn't expecting the ass shot of Ben Affleck.
This is the R-rated version. We get it.
So do you think like the Joker like killed him?
Probably. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's like joke's on you, something about being part of the Bat family.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'm excited to see Ben Affleck come back as Batman, even if it's just a small role. But I know
it's like
Robert
a
Pattinson's
multiverse thing, isn't it? Or
yeah, they're doing like Flashpoint, I think, so it can be multiple different ones.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I like Michael Keaton too, so I'm down.
Michael Keaton is so good. Like
Dude,
everything he's in.
I will always remember that big reveal in Spider-Man where I just looked at you and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, like Spider-Man: Homecoming, we like grabbed each other. It was like it was such a great little twist. Like, and it was
not.
Expected
you could not expect it coming. No.
Oh, it was so well done. I was like,
and he's such a good actor too. Yeah.
Ugh.
People in the comments are going to be like, God, you guys are such MCU fanboys. It's like, well, because they're good.
Yeah, we had to talk about it a little bit, right? And in this movie, right now, in this area, there's Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. They just don't know each other yet.
Yep. She doesn't know he's Batman yet?
Yeah. Well, I think there's kind of... She suspects that he's kind of a weird guy, but not yet. There's a lot more of Ben Affleck like sleuthing around in this one, not as Batman, that I don't remember. Like,
yeah, I kind of like it. Gives a little bit more depth to the character.
And they are utilizing the Bruce Wayne part of Batman way more, which usually in movies people are like, we'll skip that. Let's get to the Batman stuff. Like, this is actually interesting, you know?
Is he in Suicide Squad? Or is that just someone in a Batman suit?
No, it's him.
Is it him? Okay.
Yeah, and he's also at the very end with Amanda Waller, I think, too, or after credit scene. Extra credit scene.
Gotcha.
I like how, like, Bruce, when he's trying to play something off, I like those shoes. He sounds kind of drunk, kind of. Alfred just wants, like, grandkids, you know, in a sense. Like, he just wants Bruce to have kids so he could, like, have another generation of Waynes. I still really wish they'd make Batman Beyond. Like, I would love Ben Affleck as an old Bruce Wayne.
Freaking love that.
If he's just sitting in a chair.
Who do you think would play Terry McGinnis?
Oh, I don't know. You know,
I'm trying to think of like a hot young actor that.
I don't know. That's a good question. Because you want him to kind of be like.
What about
if Robert Pattinson were younger?
Yeah. Because you need someone scrappy.
Yeah.
Tom Holland. No.
He's been cast and everything. Were you going to say Kit Harington? I
was going to say Kit Harington, but he's too rugged.
Yeah. I'm
trying to think of like someone that's like. It'll come to me.
Oh, here comes a good moment. It's very subtle. But in the movie theater, you could hear it really well. Is when Lex, he's going to like kind of knock Clark in the chest and it sounds like a steel drum. Ooh.
Does he know that that's Superman?
I think he does. A little bit. Ugh.
Joker homage.
Yep. Here it comes. Listen for it.
Yeah.
It's there, but like I said, in the movie theater, it was like glung. Like, this is a very like kind of Civil War type movie. I think you kind of feel, you kind of, this is more of like individuals versus like ideals. But the way that he puts it, I think is really well done there, because he kind of says like, man, every time something Metropolis happens, like Superman, he's the greatest, he's the best, and like, then they're going to criticize Batman. Like, I don't know. I just like Batman more than Superman.
He knows he's following him.
Oh, yeah. And the only way he gets away with it is because he's like, I gotta go do something else. I thought about this too. I thought about like if I had the powers of Superman, what I would like try to do with it and try to like stop natural disasters or save people natural disasters. So like you'd feel like you're always on the clock, Dang it, Wonder Woman. Stop stealing my stuff. Bruce is like, I'm going to see you soon.
He gets into that suit pretty quick.
Yeah, I wonder if he has it like on underneath. He just throws the cape on to help. I don't know. I do think this is like a cool representation of Superman, because if somebody like this were to exist, there would be people who would treat him as a god like this. They would just be like, I just want to touch him. Just like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at him.
How do you not know that that's Clark Kent?
Yeah. I do like this little montage, though.
I forgot about this. This is his, Oh no, I was thinking of his hideaway.
Oh, no, he doesn't have the Fortress of Solitude here. No. I do like in movies like this how they get like real news people in on it to just be part of a movie,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's so great. I wonder how they get approached. They're like, hey, would you want to be in this movie?
Well, I guess they have to be careful about that. There was, what did I see recently? And a person that was in the news for something, she got fired. What was that for?
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know.
I don't know.
Was she in a movie or something?
Yeah, she like played a news person in a movie, and then it like went against her contract or something. She got fired for it.
Oh, really? Neil deGrasse Tyson is so fun to listen to. This is a cool shot, but like, why is he doing this? Like, Superman, save those people.
Yeah.
Clark, you gotta stop watching this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like reading the YouTube comment sections all the time. You just gotta take a break, buddy. Because just imagine what Reddit would look like if Superman were real.
Oh, man.
It'd be so bad. People would have found
He
out
is
who he
so
was in like a
stupid.
minute, though. They'd be like, "Oh, it's totally Clark Kent. Like, look at it. Look at this picture. These side by sides."
I like the actress they chose for Martha too.
Oh
she's
yeah,
she's scrappy.
and that's Diane Lane, I believe, and then Jonathan Kent, played by, is it Kevin Costner? Yeah.
Ooh, Kevin Costner. God, he does such a good job in Yellowstone. I really like that show.
So there's a few. Kevin Costner's up there. Michael Keaton, Kurt Russell. There's like a few of these like older actors who, like, no matter what you see them in, you're like, oh, I'm so happy you're here.
Oh yeah,
First, like, you're so good.
First movie we saw was Unhinged back in the theater, and it was decent. He played a good villain.
Oh, was this recently?
Yeah. I'd say like we went once and the theater was dead.
I would imagine. Harley Quinn? No, I'm just kidding. It's not. I'm trying to remember the Bat brand thing. Like, I know we've talked about it a few times, but I'm still like kind of.
I guess I completely forgot about it.
confused.
So
And I don't remember if it's like Lex who's doing this to people to kind of like frame Batman, to like get Superman to fight Batman. I think
yeah.
maybe that's the point of it. I guess that would make sense. Dang, she's stylish, man.
Yep.
She's cool. It's Professor Xavier. James McAvoy would have made a decent Lex as well. Or Michael Fassbender. It's a nice gesture if it wasn't a bomb.
Is it a bomb?
Yeah, it's a bomb.
I forgot about it.
It gets weird, you'll see. Wasn't that more like Zod?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay,
It's
yeah,
easy
this
to
is
blame
Lex,
the.
then. It's easy to blame, yeah, the only one who's still around. Superman. Yeah, so I guess Lex is paying people to like brand them and then also kill them in prison to make Batman seem like more of a threat. Again, not something you'd expect to see in a movie called Batman vs Superman or Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this actor, by the way. He's in one of my favorite TV shows, The Blacklist. He's also the voice of the protagonist in Crisis.
Well, I heard Blacklist is good. I gotta check it out.
Dude, check it out. It's so good, man. You'll love it. And wouldn't the government figure out who Superman is pretty darn quick if he keeps saving Lois, especially if she's in the Middle East or in Africa?
Yeah. I heard Gotham was a pretty good TV show too.
I heard that too, but I never saw it. That was the first year Superman comic came out, I believe. 1938. Or something like that. I don't know. Guys, stop watching Jon Stewart talk about Superman. Get back to work. This is ridiculous. She's got the coolest outfits. If it wasn't a fake, maybe. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I know. Who you think I am?
Yeah. I like that Wonder Woman's also trying to like kind of play it cool. She's like kind of being like a spy too. I feel like her accent's heavier in this one. What do you think?
Um, yeah, because this came first, right? This is her first appearance.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so. She might have leaned into it a little bit harder.
I remember them using that clip right there for the trailer. Do you think she was just bored of being able to overpower everybody and everything? So she's like, I'm just going to kind of play it cool, and I'm just going to, like, you know, the world's not ready for Wonder Woman right now. Even though
I'm sure she's done stuff as Wonder Woman, but probably isn't, like, super well known yet.
Well, in the 80s, clearly when that movie comes out, we'll be like, oh yeah, there it is. The rest of this movie is just him watching the loading bar. He's like, oh my gosh, 3%? 4%? Oh, the sequence. I like the sequence, Levi.
You do?
Even though it's really weird.
I don't think I think this is what turned me off. I was like, oh, what the hell?
Really?
We'll give it another shot. It was just out of nowhere.
Yeah. Omega symbol, Darkseid's coming. I like the short ears. I wasn't a big fan of the short ears before, but I've come to like them.
Was Christian Bale's really...
They're longer.
Were they longer? Yeah.
Yeah. And again, this is more of like a Dark Knight Returns type shorter ear thing.
Okay, and this is a dream, right?
This is like a dream, also like what could be in the future. It almost feels like it's out of a different film.
Yeah, that's why
like,
I was just
it's like a Watchmen.
Maybe they should have opened the movie with this.
I guess they could have, but it would have been very confusing.
Well, when have they ever not opened a movie with, super confusing?
Yeah, well, I think they kind of threw it in because it was kind of like a lot of this beforehand is then just people talking. There hasn't really been an action sequence for a long time. So they're like, we got to do something here. Like, because people are probably like, there's just like a lot of talking, nothing's happening. Please do something. Yeah, we got your rock right here, buddy. See, at first you're like, is this like Mad Max? Did like Batman get like an army out in the desert? Oh, he's got some kryptonite to fight Superman. This is interesting, but then it's just like, it all goes nuts here. And it's like the Superman police. This is also kind of like Injustice, which is another thing I would love to see on the big screen.
That would be really hard to do.
Yeah.
But not impossible.
Yeah. I know people get so angry about Batman using a gun. I'm okay with it. Like, I don't know. It's like, think of how crazy he is without one and like how good he would be if he used them, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I like Deathstroke so much.
Right? He's using the gun to hit people a lot.
Him? Yeah.
Oh,
that guy had a chance to shoot him. I'll give him credit for this. Look at this long shot.
Yeah.
Look at this. And then the parademons show up. You're like, what is happening? It's like just chaos.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's a little nuts.
Well, and the parademons belong to who?
So they usually belong to Darkseid.
Oh.
So the weird thing is here is that I don't know if Superman is working with Darkseid or if Superman defeated Darkseid and they work for him now. I don't know. Hopefully someone can shed some light on this, but this must have been fun for Henry Cavill to get to do. Because it's like, all right, you're Superman, but like, what if you're kind of evil Superman for a minute or two?
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. So basically, Lois died, I believe.
Oh.
Which, again, in Injustice, Joker actually makes that happen. Don't use the pronoun game, Barry. They don't know what that... He doesn't know what that means, man.
I don't remember seeing Flash in here.
Oh, yeah, he's in here. It reminds me a little bit of, like, what Wolverine says in Days of Future Past to a young Charles. He's like, you gotta find us. You gotta bring us together. The issue with that moment is if you are not familiar with, like, DC heroes, that is... All of that right there is the most confusing thing you've seen. Because you're like, did we jump to the future? Who is that guy who came out of the portal? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, again, I'm confused. So, like, the parademons were working for Darkseid, but helping Superman?
Or Superman maybe started working with Darkseid.
Yeah, that's
after that. It's weird, yeah, because like Superman has his own like police.
It was just a weird scene. Like, I just think it's out of context.
Yeah. It's a lot of questions, right? Also, I think it's interesting that like Lex is trying to pit these guys together, and like he's hoping that Clark will go after Batman because of this, in a sense.
Yeah, so he must know he's Batman.
Yeah, pretty much everybody knows who everybody is, it seems like. Oh yeah, what do you think of this Batmobile?
I think it was fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mixture of like the Tumbler and some other stuff. Yeah. I like the Tumbler, but it is very like... It's intense, right? Yeah. It's realistic. I'm going to make some gas grenades with it. I like that line, even if it doesn't make a ton of sense.
He's not our enemy.
No, what...
Oh, yeah.
You know, Bruce says, where he says, like, even if it's a 1% chance, like, we gotta realize that this guy is a threat. Yeah. And Bruce, obviously, they showed that thing in the beginning, because this is more about, like, tying into how he cares about the people who died working for him, you know?
He could attract more threats, too.
Exactly, yeah. And that's always the question with, like, Superman or even Batman. They're like, how many of these people wouldn't have existed if you didn't exist? Yep. You know? The Gotham Slugger, that's great. Yeah, a lot of this stuff, I think this might have been Ultimate Edition stuff, too. Like, all the kind of Clark sleuthing around.
Oh.
It's like, this movie, they just want him to fight, you know?
Well...
I just... Man, Perry's just so good. Lawrence Fishburne. Where does he go? What were we gonna ask?
Oh, I don't know.
Time to watch Batman kill a bunch of people.
Yep.
Which you can totally, if anybody has watched this and not watched Watchmen, if you watch Watchmen for just a few minutes, you'll be like, oh yeah, I could totally see how that direction, you know, influenced this film. Like, that was, you know, another Zack Snyder hero property.
That's also on my list. The Watchmen show, and then with The Boys. I heard those are good.
Yes, watch The Boys. I watched the first episode of the Watchmen show, and I wasn't completely hooked, but maybe it gets better. Guys, there's Batman, and he's standing on top of a crane with a rifle. Yeah, and he's by a light. I think we would no, that's fine. Again, going for the fences with this. Like, so I respect that Zach and the team were like, no, Batman's would be holding guns. I forget if this is like a tracker or something. Yeah.
Could have sniped him if he wanted.
Snipe him with his little tracker dart thing. Yeah. That guy's just opening that gate. Oh man, the security here, they're right on top of it. Yeah, I don't mind this Batmobile. I think it's pretty cool.
He does not give a fuck.
Yeah. Batman will just run you down in this one.
I love the
some of these people
cliche scream they used.
Oh, the Wilhelm scream, yeah. So some of these guys are like, they're maybe not dead, but like now you're like, okay, he's using this car as like a weapon. Like, I don't know. But it's nice to see Bats.
I'm kind of glad I'm watching this again. It's making me not... I think I actually like this film. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen it. It's like maybe my third time ever seeing it.
Yeah.
Like, those guys are probably toast. And the music, by the way, is really good, too. Good job, Hans, to like make a new Batman theme that's maybe not as iconic, but there's something fun about it. And they escalated it here, so, you know, Batman has to do what he has to do. He's like, I'll just rip you apart with bullets. Like, all those guys are dead. Which, again, after 20 years, I get where, like, this isn't like New Age Batman, where he's like, I won't kill anyone ever. This is like, I am done with this. Like, and that's why I think
he could have started off with that mantra. Like, you know.
Yeah. And if he would have had his own movie beforehand, he might have. But
maybe after
this is like
the Robin was killed, he was like, okay, fuck it, I'm done.
Exactly. That's what I kind of think, and I think that's what they allude to here. And like when he was talking to Alfred, he was just kind of like, you know, how long we've been doing this, how many people in Gotham are still alive, like the good ones, and how many stayed that way. It's like, yeah. Like, look at Harvey Dent even, like, probably someone they counted on for a while, and then he became a horrible villain.
Yeah, like him, he's jaded.
Mm-hmm. The security detail in this, they're just all over the place. They're like, we don't know what to do.
That looks like a really heavy weapon to just be holding on to.
Yeah.
Oh.
So KGB survives that, but that other guy, I'm pretty sure, is like gone.
What did the boat do?
It slowed him down. The Natsumi. Oh, this is a good moment too. I think it's in the trailer though. I don't remember. I remember really enjoying it though when he comes around this corner up here.
Fuck is that?
Has little flares.
Yeah.
It's very good. Shoots him forward, which you don't see often.
Yeah, the Batmobile does seem much more realistic.
Oh, he's coming around. He's like, oh, I did not think you would be here today. It's almost like you could have like mistaken it for like him working for Lex if they would have shown this in the very beginning of this movie. You know, like, wait, what? What's happening, Superman? It's such a weird thing for him to say. That's so great.
That was a really good
I'm
line.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Clark probably heard that too. Uh, Also, apparently Kevin Smith, who is a friend of Ben Affleck's, I was reading this, he was the one who suggested the voice modulator because he thought Ben's voice was a little too high to do like the Batman voice that every other kind of Batman has done for a while.
Yeah.
Which I think it works. I think it works really well. It's fun. He's like, Alfred, I killed a lot of people. I didn't get the thing I wanted, and I ran to Superman. It's kind of a weird night. This Batcave is so chic.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for me to understand. I'm so used to just like the gigantic, like the stalactites and the stalagmites and just the bats
It's
everywhere.
realistic. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Because Christian Bale's was like super fancy.
Well, he kept moving too, because the second one, like Dark Knight, he was like in that storage facility. You remember?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't check for that tracking dart. There's a lot of beeping tracking darts in this movie,
Yeah.
Levi, or tracking little beacons. He's like, I got him. I guess that was his backup plan in the beginning when you think about it, because he could have just shot that and left it, you know? But he was hoping to get to it before then.
Who is this woman?
It's like his assistant, but she may or may not be an android. I don't know. It's a heavy movie, man. There's a lot going on, right? What if he didn't show up? They like all gathered and he's just like, nah. Just loves that kryptonite so much. Oh yeah, this is a good moment between these two. I like it.
I didn't know we were watching Signs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Joaquin Phoenix is out there.
Swinging the bat around.
Swing that bat. What is that? He says like,
oh,
hit home or something, or hit away.
Swing away.
Swing away.
It's actually one of my favorite movies, but it's for another time.
I like how she says like, you don't owe this world anything, and that's like his mom saying
Yeah.
that.
Well, she's
And
right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if anything, the only people he's kind of indebted to are the Kents for taking care of him. But besides that, I mean, yeah. Yeah, there's so much of this like kind of subplot that becomes like a main plot, and I think this might be Ultimate Edition stuff too. I'm just like, oh yeah, she's back, and it's confusing. I think just one of the things that frustrated some people, and I'm not going to speak for the masses here, but it was just that this is such a complicated and complex film, and most people just wanted to see Batman fight Superman. You know, like that's what they wanted.
But you can't just do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to build up to it, and also like, I would have liked to have seen, you know, the standalone Batman with Ben Affleck, but they were moving it forward quickly and they're trying to make it work, right? See, Lex, if you're gonna do this, just don't use your own bullets. Drive me nuts. He was in the first, or he was in Man of Steel, by the way, for people who don't recall.
Because of you.
Hmm. See, Lois is his real kryptonite.
Yep. Do you think he knows that there's a bomb in there?
He doesn't. Oh, is that Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Like a portrait of him in the background there. That's great. That's a good little Easter egg or a little
I
detail.
wish The Walking Dead was a better show because he's such a badass villain on that show.
Didn't he become like a hero or something?
It kind of, yeah, an anti-hero a little bit.
Or something? Yeah. Sure.
He's,
everybody in that show is basically a villain anyway.
He's badass though. That's another show that needs to be like cut and shrunk down to like 5 seasons.
Yeah, I know they just kept going because it was such a hit, and I don't know how much longer it'll go on for, but they kept doing like spin-offs and things.
So long-winded, yeah.
Okay. That's what it was. This is where it starts to get real weird, Levi. Yeah. It's just like a lot because you have to remember like this is the guy who is in the wheelchair and he was sending these back to him. But maybe he wasn't doing it, maybe Lex was coercing him to do it. I don't know. It's crazy. Could you imagine Superman flying over the state capitol?
Yeah.
Like how nuts would that be?
Oh, she dies here, doesn't she? That's unfortunate.
A lot of people die here. So yeah, so she testified at the beginning and basically I think was working for Lex, and now he's kind of tying up loose ends here. Which of course they send the guy with like the long slick back hair and the tattoo on his throat, you know, to go do this.
Oh.
Yeah, brutal. Again, there's a lot more like real world stuff going on in this movie that I think a lot of people weren't expecting. Like if this stuff were to be real, like it's a more realistic take. Because like people would be out there protesting.
I don't know why I didn't like this film when I first saw it. I think it's pretty decent.
I think we've also had so many superhero films that like when we go back to seeing one that's a bit different like this, it's refreshing. At the time we were like still, you know, we're a couple of years clearly into the MCU, but now we've just had so much of that. This feels more like the
I think
Boys.
Maybe it was
so like,
jarring.
You know, if you like this, yeah, if you like this, you'll love The Boys because The Boys is like this, but way more intense in a sense. Dude, that guy, and like the thing is, I don't think that suit is like really padded too much.
No,
he's just kind of nuts. You'd like hope this goes well, you know, because if it didn't, it would be like, well, he could take care of it, you know. You wouldn't see him ever again. Now remember that whole Granny sweet tea thing? Well, it comes back in here. So the bomb might be lead lined, and maybe that's why he doesn't see it. But, like, Superman should probably smell the big jar of pee. It's like, and then, like, who peed in it? Was it Lex?
Yeah.
I want to know these things, Levi. I'm curious. He'd be like, oh, her heart rate's going up. And she smells like she's next to a big glass of urine. How did he get that in there? I guess that lady put it there?
Oh.
Whoops. Ugh.
Yeah, so the dude was mad at Bruce Wayne? I thought that he liked him for saving him.
I think it's because Lex took those checks and wrote that stuff. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, because I don't think he'd be mad at... Because he did save him, yeah. Clark's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I did the right thing. So again, I think it's supposed to frame
save them?
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't save them all. And they also took this out of the theatrical cut, but you see in this one coming up here that, yeah, you let your family die. See that? I think that's all Lex. But you'll see, like, Superman actually trying to help people. I think he's, like, bringing people to an ambulance or something. Because of the theatrical cut, he just takes off. He just flies away. Yeah, see this?
Yeah.
They needed to show this in the movie because it makes him look like such a villain that he just takes off.
I'm surprised they didn't show him,
version. Yeah.
Do they think he did it? Or they don't know?
I think they're not completely sure. It'd be kind of weird if he did that, and then I guess they could still make the case that he killed everybody in the courtroom, and those guys were just collateral damage. Like, he was angry about what happened in there, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I think another thing, too, that a lot of people were kind of turned off by is that Superman is supposed to kind of be like this. He's joyful and hopeful, and, you know, he's supposed to kind of be courageous and a beacon of hope, and in this movie, he's just so sad. Yeah. He's just like, everything's so sad in the world. Like, he's always like kind of almost on the verge of tears. Yeah, that's what they showed in the theatrical version. Like, they showed him outside with the people, and then he just takes off. I think. Alfred getting jacked.
Yep.
Wait, he is jacked. It's like a James Bond style, like, mansion or side mansion, because he doesn't live in the actual mansion. They have a good cast in this movie.
I like that it's on a lake. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty, isn't it? And again, I could be wrong about him with the checks, but I'm pretty sure it's Lex. I feel like everything in this movie that's weird, you're like, oh, that was a Lex Luthor thing. I just, like, think if Lex... I think Lex is just nuts. That's the point of all this, is he's kind of pitting everybody against each other. If Lex really wanted to kill Superman, he would just basically make a weapon of kryptonite, like a knife or something, and walk up to him when he's at one of those parties and just stab him in the neck. You know?
Yeah. Like, did he kill his assistant?
Yes, and that's the thing, is like, is the assistant, like, was she like an android or whatever else, but he didn't seem to care about her?
Do we see her again?
Ooh, I do like this, though. No, we don't see her again. So this kind of stuff. Oh, it's like, look how quick he is. I love that so much.
He took his... Yeah,
he took the kryptonite. But I just, like, it's like a scene I wish we could have seen, but I like that we also didn't see it, because you're like, oh, what did he do? Like, Batman came here while all that stuff was happening and just, like, ripped the place apart. It's so cool. I hope they use some of that for Robert Pattinson. Like, you just don't understand it. Like, when you look at him, you're like, I don't know
he's
how you
gonna bring
like
a
that.
really fresh take on Batman. He's actually a pretty decent actor.
Yeah, he's great. And I think it'll be very grounded, though, because that's what has been doing well so far.
It's funny, he was in a different film, too, and he just did a phenomenal job. He played like a weird... I can't remember the name.
It's so funny because, like, I think in this day and age, and it's becoming even more prevalent now, if anybody on any of these balconies saw him, they'd have their phones out. They'd be live streaming this, like, immediately. Like, I don't like him as much as Batman, but, like, I don't want Superman to be sad, you know? Yeah, but that's okay.
It always sounds like a cannon firing.
Yeah, he sounds like a jet or something taking off, which is cool. They saved them some money right there. I see that a lot in like the TV shows where they don't show him like doing a thing. They show it off. It's like off screen. It happens. It's like, oh, he took off. He's gone. I'll hand it to Lex. Stripping off the fingerprints of Zod to get into this ship. It's a bold move.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't probably step in here with my clothes on or in any circumstance to get in the juice. Gross. I just don't like wet pants, Levi. I don't know what. Maybe something happened to me when I was a kid. Yeah, and that thing is from Man of Steel.
Yep.
That little device.
I remember that.
Right. Because they can't like get it to go the way they want it to. $37% is still pretty good for a ship that's been almost destroyed. Lex, that's a lot. It's a lot to learn. It's like that's how Lex is preparing, and then they shoot to Bruce, and he's like, "I'm doing some CrossFit." I like it. Also, if you were Bruce in the situation, like it's cool to see his workout regimen and like all the scars and stuff, but I would be more concerned about preparing my mechanical devices because no matter how strong I feel I get, I'll never be as strong as Superman, you know? Yeah, he's pretty cut. I'll give it to Ben Affleck. He got in decent shape for this. Oh, so does he make 3 grenades? Is that what it is? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, he's triangular shaped, like in Batman the Animated Series. Okay, so he makes 3 grenades and a spear.
Look at that chair.
Is it a nice chair? Did I miss the chair?
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, so this is weird. Okay, so there's a chance. This is like Lex Luthor information, right? So Lex, like, who made these logos for everybody? Because they don't have logos yet. They're not established superheroes.
Must have been him.
It's like for the audience to know. Yeah.
This is Lex's computer, or is this Bruce Wayne's?
This is Lex. Remember, it was the hard drive they stole. So this is Lex's information.
How does he know she's special?
Well, he kind of has a sense that something's going on with her, like she's at least a spy, but now, like, he found it in Lex's secure data as well.
Oh, there we go.
Here comes the music. Get ready, dude.
Yeah.
Yes. Remember Zack Snyder in the background there, back to the right.
He's like, oh shit.
I've really come around on this theme. I love it now. I'm getting goosebumps. It's so
I like
good.
it a lot. Oh,
He's
they
like,
didn't
"Oh
show
my
the other
gosh."
two.
They
I
show
was
them
gonna
later
say,
on.
I remember watching them.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, they do
And it
force
was
it
stupid
quickly.
because like the Aquaman just like was like poke poke.
Yeah, and then he like swims away. And again, a lot of this I think was the kind of the want to catch up to Marvel and all the money and success they
Yeah.
had. But Marvel didn't do that, you know, in Iron Man 2. They did a little bit of it, but like it wasn't like everything, you know, was in Iron Man 2.
What was the blood for?
He's trying to like do this thing where he's going to like take over the ship but also make his own like Superman here that has his genetics in it. So maybe he can kind of control it, maybe? I don't know. It's all over the place. He's much more mad scientist than I usually think of for like Lex Luthor. This is something like, again, Doctor Doom
Yeah.
I could see doing. I wonder if Perry knows. Like sometimes in these movies you get this kind of feeling that like some people know about people and they don't say anything, you know? Would they show that on TV like that?
God.
I don't know if they would. Superman's like, I'm just gonna kind of take a vacation. Not really, but it's okay. Yeah, so they basically set that guy
Oh
up who
no.
was in the wheelchair, like Lex did. And the checks, I think, were also part of it to make and corroborate that story that he was kind of unhinged. So thankfully, that guy in the first place drew the false god thing on that Superman statue, so Lex could kind of build up this false case against him. It's a complicated plan, you know?
Yeah.
It's a lot. And again, I think it's supposed to make you think Lex is like really intelligent and kind of holds all the cards, but it just seems so disparate. It seems like it's all over the place,
Yeah.
you know? But maybe that's because I'm not a mastermind like he is. I don't know. Mm. That's kind of a jump, Lois, but maybe, you know, is that pan out?
How would you use it as evidence?
Yeah, I don't know. It's more hearsay than anything, I guess, but there you go.
What does that mean?
that means that Superman couldn't see through it. But for some odd reason, I don't know how people know that about Superman, like how Lex would get that information.
Oh, I didn't know that he couldn't
like,
see
he
through
can't
lead.
see through. Yeah, that's one of his things, and you'll hear other Superman knockoffs say like they can't see through a different, element, but lead is like his. It's not a weakness; it's just that he can't see through it. Just couldn't stay away. Oh, by the way, my movie recommendation for everybody who likes Kevin Costner is check out 13 Days. It's about JFK and the Cuban Missile Crisis. It's fascinating. Do you think Rise of Skywalker saw this scene? I love it.
Oh.
It's like, that's a sad story. The chimney. He sounds very gravelly in this one.
He sounds the same way in Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah. He does? Okay. And look at Clark. He's got a bit of a beard, Levi. How does he cut it? Does he have a kryptonite razor? I like that his relationship, though, like in pretty much every Superman mythos, is so powerful. Like, that's the reason between him and Martha why Superman is the way he is, why Clark Kent is the way he is. Because if you would have grown up with some horrible parents, Superman could have been just the worst.
So he doesn't live at the manor?
No, he lives off-site. He's still on the grounds. But yeah, so this is like the formal mansion. This all kind of does make sense again if you listen well enough that, this is an older Batman. This is not, even 5 years, 10 years down the line Batman. This is double, quadruple that. So it just it makes sense that he would kind of want to do something with his life, before he dies. And this is the thing now. Also, Martha, she has the farm, but she also just kind of works, at this little diner. It's like, oh, Martha, I just wish someone would just give her money so she could retire. Can you just speed dial Clark? Just speed dial him right now. Martha, this is
I forgot
a thing
that they
you
took
should
the mom.
be ready for. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, there's the Riddler. You can see it, the little question mark, Levi, down to the left.
I remember this.
It's on the column. It was quick, but it's there.
Well,
right there. Can you see it? Bottom left on the column. There's a Riddler question mark. It was there. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so his whole plan is to lure Superman to him and get him down there by the spear so he can use it. Like, I would have just had the spear with me. Or maybe just, like, made brass knuckles out of it. Or a knife. I kind of wish they wouldn't have used the Dark Knight Returns stuff, because this is from a little bit more like Dark Knight Returns, like the look and the mech suit and stuff. Or the exosuit. I just wish we could have seen, like, Bruce and Clark make a friendship over the years, and then the Dark Knight Returns, and then they could have had them fight down the road, and it would have been sad. Like when Cap and Iron Man fight each other, you're just, like, it's depressing, right? You're like, oh no, my buddies are fighting. Don't fight. I was like, yeah, remember we were in Africa together? Or wherever we were?
Just yeets her in. Jesus.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he does just kind of chuck her in there. Be careful with her, guys. If Superman loses it, like, he will kill us all. Like, also, that's another thing with Lex. I think it would be hard to do is to keep all of your, like, goons hush hush about this, because you're doing some crazy illegal stuff. Like, he's a terrorist now.
Yeah.
He blew up the state capitol. It's like, oh my gosh. Again, this music, man, there's a lot more that I appreciate about this movie, coming back to it. What? They look like they could be brother and
Yeah, a
sister,
little
don't
bit.
they? With their hair, like they're twins or something. I don't know. Also, is there a chance that somebody else in LexCorp could have done this instead of just Lex at the very top? You know? Again, he's doing his Jesse Eisenberg thing. Like, this is who he's known
Yeah.
for, Like, this is what he's known to do.
What else has he done?
Oh, and all of the movies that he's in. That voice, just the quick talking and stuff. Again, kind of like leaning into the mythos or the abilities of these characters. I do love that Superman just appears there.
Yeah.
He's just like, hi. And people would be live streaming this right now, taking pictures of this right now. Like, they'd be like, oh, that's Superman. Lex is lucky that he wants to talk to him at all. I get where he's going with this, but still,
Yeah, I wish.
reaches a little.
I wish they chose a different actor. I don't hate Jesse Eisenberg. I just don't think he's a good Lex Luthor.
Oh, I just meant like also how he's written. I feel like there should be more of like a personal
Oh
grudge that he should have with
no,
Superman.
he's just crazy.
He kind of does,
Yeah.
but not. Yeah,
Which is sometimes okay. Sometimes a villain can just be evil to be evil.
Sure. It's weird too that like Lex wants this so badly when like Batman, I guess he's like a pretty well-known, you know, element or agent in Gotham for the past 20 years. But like, do we think he would be strong enough to take on Superman, a guy who's been fighting criminals just for 20 years? I get where also this would be a good motivator for Clark, because I know that if I were him and this happened to me, I would have almost lost it right here. And so I guess I'm trying to think what is his endgame too. Is like, does he want him to kill Batman, you know, or to bring him to heel so he works for him? I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
He's like, I could destroy you. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know what I would do.
Now it's last. That's a dumb line.
Yeah.
I would have been better if he was like, oh, now you have 45 minutes.
Yeah. I'm surprised it wasn't like super duper specific. You have 53 minutes and 29
Yeah, that would have been
better. Like, what? What? Again, it's hard to motivate Superman to do something like this, so I get where they kind of they had to really expedite the process. Whereas, again, you would have built it up, you know, over multiple movies and years where they're kind of edging towards this the whole time, and they would have said, like, you know, even when we formed the Justice League, I always knew that you would maybe one day be a problem.
Yeah.
You know, or do Red Kryptonite and make him kind of go crazy, you know, or something like that. I don't know. But it's okay, because we get a decent fight scene and then we get to watch Batman do the coolest thing in this movie, which is take out all these guys. Which I love. Also, yeah, because he makes Doomsday here too. I don't know. This movie gets crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah, that villain comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, you know that he's been like cooking something up with Zod, but
yeah, for sure. Look at how sad he is. Look at that grimace. He almost looks like he just ate some bad food. Like he's just kind of
so
like, I can't.
Jaded, yeah.
Also, I enjoy how Wonder Woman is just kind of like, you know what? I'm leaving.
Maybe that's why DCU isn't as appealing as MCU is, because they rely too much on dark themes, when MCU kind of keeps a good balance, I would say.
Yeah, and that's why like Wonder Woman and Shazam and Aquaman are a little more upbeat. This email is great, by the way. because like Bruce wrote this, right? But like he wrote it and he like put it together purposefully. He's like, all right, here's the picture, and then he's like, he wrote this underneath it. You know what I mean? Like Bruce is very dramatic in his emails.
How did he find that photo?
It was on that hard drive from.
No, how did Lex find the photo?
Remember? Oh, I don't know. So again, I don't know who made these logos, but it was not the superheroes themselves. Other people did. And again, I understand their desire to get to Justice League really quick, and this is kind of an attempt to do so, but...
Yeah, here's the Justice League theme, isn't it?
This is just the Wonder Woman theme.
I don't remember.
And I get also that
happening so much.
A little bit, yeah. I know it kind of is weird there. This Flash is like got a ton of lightning, a lot of Speed Force around him. The DC heroes are better known, or they used to be, right? So maybe that was the assumption too. How I got this? He's just like, "What are you doing, camera? Get out of here! I don't get away from me." It's so funny because like Cyborg has become such a big part of like the Justice League and all this other stuff, but for me, my initial introduction to the character was the Teen Titans. So every time I see him, all I want is like a Teen Titans like movie, but I still haven't watched Titans. So what does that say? He got a mother box. No, leave it on. That's the point of these, is so you can look back at it. That's why you record it. Isn't it fun? He set the bat signal up, and it's going to summon Superman. Huh? Oh. Perry gets it. See, he's a good guy, you know?
There.
Now, this fight scene is fine. I think I wish it were more.
Yeah, it's very anticlimactic for how the movie was marketed.
Yeah. Okay, so he's trying to get him to help him find Martha, right? So I get right here, he could have just been like, okay, I get that you're mad, but let me try again. Stop walking forward. Like, why did he push him? Like, Superman, don't push him if you need him to help you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just hold him and be like, they've got my mom, dude. Do you think a scene before this, like a little bit of him preparing this area and like building stuff without us seeing what it was would have been cool, or would that have given some of it away?
Yeah, I don't think it was needed.
Okay. I like that suit, though. It looks great. What do you think of the suit? Yeah? Just, no. I think he's just angry. Maybe that's the point at this. He's just like, I don't even want to talk anymore. But still, if my mom's life was on the line, I'd be like, can you help me with this, buddy? He's just like, I'm going to take you through a building. He does destroy the bat signal spotlight there, which is pretty great. Oh yeah, so these are like lead grenades, by the way, or like lead smoke grenades. Which is pretty great. See, this is where the knife Levi would come in handy. Because you hit him with this and then run up and stab him in the throat.
You've been watching too much Injustice.
Or in the eye. I'm just telling you. It'd be fine. You get it done. It's like the most colorful thing in the movie. It's so green. So that hit right there, do you think Clark was going to go like kill him right there? Because like he's surprised at that block, you know? And you can tell that he's a much more like experienced hand-to-hand fighter, whereas Clark is very much like, I'm going to hit you once and you're
I don't think I like the moon boots.
Oh, the moon boots? You don't like his big... He's got the big spike boots. They're very Dark Knight Returns. Yeah. That's the reason why they're that way. So again, he's trying to get him towards the spear, right? It's a fun kind of gritty fight, you know? There's a lot of back and forth in it. Just kill him. I don't know why you're holding back, Bats.
He's not bleeding yet.
I like this part coming up here, though, where you see Superman start to rally.
It's a fishy.
It's a fishy. I was going to say, what is that? It looks like something, right? Yeah, right here. This is a great moment, too.
Oh.
I don't know what that suit is made of that's keeping bats alive. You know what I mean? And I guess the grenade is still affecting him a little bit. Like, you can see it took him an effort to pick him up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Just don't charge him, Superman. Don't be stupid here. You know? It's a grenade launcher.
He should know that that's full of...
Yeah. Also, if I were Batman, too, another thing, I probably would have had 2 of those mini grenade launchers, both locked and loaded. So that way, you know, if I can have a moment like that to reload, I'd be like, here you go. Kill him. Kill him right now, Batman.
Could have.
Oh, yeah, he does the sync thing.
Oh my god, that's kind of brutal. I don't remember this. Well, here's your Injustice.
Oh yeah, it's brutal. It's like Splinter Cell Conviction. I like that, you know, they do this a lot in the Superman movies, like Spider-Man, they do this all the time, where like Spidey's mask would get destroyed so you could actually see Tobey Maguire's face a little bit. But like this one, it breaks a little bit in a convincing way, and then you can tell the electronics have broken in it, so that's why his right eye isn't lighting up. You know? He does something up here that I really like, though, with the grapple hook.
Oh.
And again, this is all for, like, it's the show, right? Like, this is the point of this is to be, like, Zack Snyder, like, showing off these kind of almost immortal, like, one man who's almost like a god and another one that is a god, basically. And, like, it's supposed to be this kind of big kind of thing. Was that a Watchmen smiley face? Okay. I don't know. Like, in the movie theaters, I remember thinking, like, what are you doing, Batman? I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, you're just dragging him around? What? Yeah. I like that he swings him around.
Ouch. Still not bleeding.
I think the fight scene is fine, but again, like it's done now, and it's got moments. It's got good moments, right? I just kind of there's part of me that maybe is just a sadist, and I just want to watch that fight go on a little bit longer, or I want to see him, attack him with the Batmobile. I want to see him kind of go through everything, and he's like,
well, now we
nothing's
know
working.
Batman would have won.
Yeah, and Batman usually wins these things, which kind of frustrates
though.
Superman fans. Well, he always has the kryptonite handicap, right? Like that's the thing. Like, Batman's never going to win against Superman on any just regular day. Like, And maybe part of this, too, is, like, he kind of sees Superman as the guy who killed his parents, Like, he's just another murderer. I don't know. I thought this was an intelligent kind of thing to, like, call back to, because I guess they both are named Martha.
Oh, I just realized that, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, Bruce probably would have known that in his research with Superman.
Yeah.
Like, he knows that Clark, he would have been like, oh, yeah, Martha Kent.
What was his dad's name?
It's an emotional time.
John Wayne?
Kent? Oh no, you're talking about the Waynes?
Thomas.
Okay. Yeah. Which again, I'd never really thought about those names being the same before this. Thank goodness she showed up when she did. Because, like, how weird would this be? You're, like, running in there and you're like, oh my gosh, my boyfriend's about to be stabbed by Batman. And he's just yelling at him, why did you say that name? He's like, oh man, I'm kind of a monster. Still, that suit looks great, even if it's trashed. And you can, like, see where, like, Superman has grabbed him, too. Like, the rips in it. Like,
Oh, yeah, don't they use that in Justice League?
No, they use it in here. You'll see soon. It becomes quite a whole thing. So, like, that's probably, like... I'm not saying the movie should have ended there. But, I don't know. There's a bit more here where they kind of have to be on the same side, right? I like other buddies immediately.
Yeah, it just switched so fast. I think that's what I got kind of annoyed with. I was like, what the hell? They flipped that so quick.
Yeah. After 18 months of him being like, I'm going to kill Superman. I'm going to kill him so
I think
dead.
The marketing just really
like, you know what?
Fucked it up. Yeah. The title...
Well, no, I think it's more like
the title and the marketing
kind of... The title is... And I get where and this movie is aptly named because you're right, it is about these two conflicting ideals and then also the dawn of justice or the Justice League. That's what this movie is supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
But it would have been better if they would have built it up over time, I think. And it's still not bad, though. Like, I know people are really angry at this movie.
No, I think it's decent. Bad.
I think it's good. Yeah. It's decent. There's a lot going on in it.
It's funny how immediately they're like, we're buddies.
Yeah. Does kryptonite only glow really bright when you're next to a Kryptonian? Because it seems that way. He says that after he was listening to that song while he was waxing the floor which is weird. Also, if they were worried about this at all, wouldn't they just kill Martha right away? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, all I can think every time he brings out a gun is he's like, I'm too old for this. He's like, I'm so done with people shooting guns at me. I'm so old. I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't care anymore. I'm shooting people. And I kind of like it. I think it's fun. What do you think of that Batwing?
I like it.
That Batplane.
How old do you think he is?
Batman? Probably like 50? 40s? Late 40s, maybe? Oh, yeah, watch this. So he runs out and he jumps off this thing, but the Batplane actually kicks him up right as he's about to jump. See, like that?
That is cool.
This is the best sequence in this movie. Someone was saying this to me earlier today. I was like, yeah, I agree. I really like it. Because you finally get to see Batman do what Batman does, you know? And it's brutal.
Oh.
It's just so... It's like Arkham. The Arkham games.
Awesome.
That guy still thinks he's down there.
Ouch. Oh, that's graphic.
Oh,
holy shit.
I love the grapple. Yeah, this guy's gone.
Oh, there's the Batarang. Doesn't use that very often.
Yep, a little bit. No, it's not often. And I think they talked to, like, they used some of Danny Elfman's kind of old theme a little bit in some of the Hans Zimmer stuff.
We're gonna knife ya.
Yeah. Oh, that guy.
Oh, did you see his blood come down the wall?
Yeah. That's where people were like, oh yeah, Batman's killed people.
Oh, this was rated R?
Sure. If you didn't know before. This one, the Ultimate Edition is. The regular
I guess I forgot that they did a rated R version.
Yeah. Also, you can see here, too, that, like, the knives are bouncing off of him, basically.
Oh, God.
The bullet's just like, nope. And, like, you can tell what's going on, even though it's hectic. It's pretty well done. Yeah, he's breaking people.
They definitely did not show some of this in the theater.
I like that when he threw that crate at that guy, reminded me of, like, when he took that car and threw it at that other car, you know? Like, he's really into that. Did he stab the guy in the arm or in the chest? Yeah. I can't tell. Like, oh no, he's still there. Okay, I was like, does Batman just right in the dude's chest cavity? Like, I'm done. Batman with a mole.
Now he killed him.
Like, did he?
No, he killed him.
Like, either way, I love that
sequence
on record. Because
he killed him.
He's so scary. He's so scary. Okay, this guy's got an LMG pointed at the door. Oh, that's a great Batman Dark Knight thing, just come through the wall. I believe you. Right? Yeah. That's a bold move.
Where's Superman? He didn't help with any of this.
Superman couldn't be there. He was at the scout ship or whatever. I do love that
I'm
sequence.
A friend of his?
Maybe it's just because it's like a little bit.
God damn.
Yeah, they're buddies. Immediate buddies. Okay, I understand why Lois is doing this. But why would you throw it in the water?
So no one could get it, I guess?
I guess, but like the fear that someone could find it, I would almost rather hold on to it until this night was over, right? No, the egg timer. I like how he still has the cut, you know? Yeah, your whole plan hinged on, like, them not teaming up or something like that. I don't know. It's just kind of like... eh. I like that he had a backup plan, but it's also kind of a crazy one that seemed to manifest pretty quickly out of nowhere.
Well, he's been
right?
cooking it up, I
You're
feel like, throughout
here?
the movie.
Oh, throughout the movie, yeah. I meant through, like, the last 18
Oh,
months or whatever
yeah.
it's been. Like, he's had this crazy, amazing plan with, like,
Well,
pitting
he's
all
a
these people
genius,
against each
yeah.
other, and then he just kind of... He stumbled upon this and was given access
There's
to it.
Anderson
and
Cooper.
now it's like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna make my own Superman.
How has it only been 18 months?
Well, it's been 18 months since Superman was shown to the world. Remember at the beginning they said that? Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to listen to you, you know? Like,
I don't think I cared for this villain.
see, the problem is I really like Doomsday, but Doomsday probably doesn't need to be showing up at the last, like, half hour of a movie. Like, you could do it throughout a film, you know? But they needed something that was strong enough that all, like, Superman and Wonder Woman and then add on Batman kind of could take on, you know? Because if Superman and Wonder Woman, not a lot is going to be able to take them. Like, did he think that he could control this thing? You know? It's like, that was very nice of Clark to do that.
Him, yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me of a troll from, like, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Do you get that vibe?
Oh. He's strong. Yeah. And quick.
Very strong. So, basically in this, he's like a resurrected Zod. That's the way they do this one. Even though the Doomsday that I like is like this kind of genetic mutation from Krypton that they, like, over dying many, 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 many times is, like, almost impervious to death.
Yeah, the CGI doesn't look great on him.
Yeah, it's fine. And I know that a lot of people give the DC, you know, movies kind of like, oh, every villain's a big gray villain. And it's kind of true, but a lot of the movies are a little darker like this, so...
Oh.
He's kind of a weird design. He does change, though, over the course of, like, the next few minutes, so that kind of helps, I think. Like, I don't even know how you would react to that if you're the military. Be like, he's kind of fighting Superman? Like, is there any point of us going in there right now? How did they get the permanent marker that said witch on her forehead off? Or was that just Sharpie, or... I don't know.
Magic eraser?
Maybe. Again, I love that Wonder Woman.
Yeah, why was she gonna leave? She wasn't gonna help?
She was kind of done. She didn't realize, I don't think, like, tonight was the night things were going crazy, but now she's like, I should probably help out.
Like, she
Since
saw
the 80s, nothing has happened.
She saw the lightning going off, like...
Yeah, I don't know why. She's just like, I'm out. Maybe she didn't see the lightning. I'm not sure, but you think she would have. Dude, heck of a hit there, Doomsday. So now he's going to be immune to explosions.
Oh, shit.
Oh, by the way, that move right there is kind of reminiscent to one of Superman's newer moves called Solar Flare, which he like stores up all like that sun's energy, right? Like he usually does, but then he releases it all at once. So that's what it kind of looks like in the comics a little bit more, I believe. She's like, I gotta go. I like Superman's plan here, though. He's like, I'm just gonna chuck him into space. Is that a yes or no, Mr. President? I just don't know why they wouldn't let him do his thing. Like, just send him into space. You know what I mean? I'd be like, just take him.
Is this what
Superman?
kills
You got
Superman?
this,
right? I don't remember.
No, it's not. Unfortunately. See, like, just let him go. You don't have to hit him anymore. Oh, kind of reminiscent of Man of Steel right there. It's good. Poor Clark.
Didn't he realize that was gonna...
I'm not sure. Yeah, he knew what was going down, I think. I don't know how I feel about the lip on the bat plane, like not being attached. I feel like that could break off. I don't know. Their response time for Nuke was pretty quick, wasn't it? See, they kind of bring that up here too, is that they wanted to have this fight be somewhere where there weren't a bunch of, innocent civilians, because that was such a big point of controversy in Man of Steel. But, I think it's fine. Nuke the island. I'm sure he will die to another nuke.
Ugh.
He's got the bony protrusions. I love the bony protrusions. I can't. I do like that he's kind of like a snake, though. Like, he peeled off his skin.
Yeah.
What
is this move now?
That was another, I think it's every time he gains another, ability to not die, he kind of does that solar flare, that kind of AoE. Hopefully it just wanted to kill Superman.
Wouldn't they think, right? Oh, maybe we should use Krypton on it? Or Kryptonite?
They don't know about the Kryptonite.
Just Lex does. Yeah.
Yeah, Lex and Bruce. I don't know how I feel about him having laser vision. I'm not sure if Doomsday has had it in the comics. Maybe he has. Yeah, and that's the point, right? It's like, this is not the classic Doomsday. This is Zod. I just miss Zod, man. He was so great. I don't know how you feel about Zod. Does he have a wheel there? Or what's that next to the camera?
I don't know what that is.
Were you a fan of Zod,
no,
Levi?
Did
we talk about that earlier? Did you? Okay.
I think he was just...
See, I really liked him.
Well, I'm not going to say no, not at all. He was kind of boring to me.
Okay.
That movie was...
I thought he was the most compelling.
That movie was just it just was a slog. What's
Oh, really?
sluggish. It was just, it was slow moving.
I wonder. I would be interested to have you go back to it now, especially if you like this one.
I'd be down to watching it again.
I love watching him come back to life with the sun, though. That's such.
I always loved how the beginning of that movie is so long. It's the longest introduction I've ever seen to a movie ever.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Krypton stuff. Well, there's a good chunk.
It's like
of
45
stuff.
minutes. Yeah, it's really long.
It's that long, is it? I like how Batman's like, I'm gonna die right here. Oh, cue the music. Yeah, she's just so cool, man. Like, dang it, Gal Gadot, stop it. I'm just so happy to see her every time. I'm like, there she is. Oh my gosh. Superman's like, I'm back and I'm blowing everything up.
Mini Justice League forming here.
Yeah, exactly. And it is cool to see all three of them together in a big movie like this for the first time. You know? Lois is like... Lois is like, I gotta go get that in the well. Put it in the well. This is the thing that frustrates me so much about this ending sequence, is that she kind of threw that away. And I get it, she's trying to help, but now it's becoming a problem. It's so cool. And she's in the middle, too, which is great, too, because you're like, wow. Like...
Yeah, you can tell her character isn't quite fully baked yet, though.
Oh, like they didn't know, like, because, this is kind of her first showing, right? I like how they both stand out there, and Bruce is like, I'm going behind some cover. Then again, I guess he blew up and he did that thing again. I don't know how his powers work, Levi. I'm sorry. She says she's killed things from other worlds before, so I wonder if that'll play into 1984 at all. You know, because we don't really get that in, like, it's Ares from another world.
Oh.
I don't know.
It's a good question.
Ugh. I love how she's just, like, first in, man. She's like, let's go. And, like, regardless how you feel about this movie, like, some of the stuff, to see these guys fighting together is pretty cool. Like, it's like, look at this. Like, Zack Snyder knows how to do spectacle, you know? And remember, Levi, she is the God Killer. I also like that Batman is just kind of an onlooker for a lot of this fight, because he's like, what do I even do?
Yeah, he's like, well, I can't really contend here.
Yeah. That's why, again, if this would have been later on down the line, if, you know, they would have done a Justice League movie and they would have had Doomsday eventually, he might have had, like, a mech suit or something that could have helped him out a bit more.
He can hear that, can't he?
Think of Superman dying. He does eventually, yeah. But think of, like, Superman dying after, like, they knew him for years. And we knew him for more years. Like, it would have been so sad.
Oh, it overpowered him.
Yeah, Doomsday's ridiculous. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, oh, the fight's getting so good, and now it's like, Superman has to be out of the fight. So he saves... This is the third time in this movie that he saves Lois.
Oh, because he can't grab
the helipad. Yeah, the kryptonite. Here, the helipad, and then the very beginning, where he takes out the potential terrorist guy.
How's he gonna grab it?
He can touch it. He can be near it. It's like he just gets weak. I love that he just grapples away. He's like, I'm out, dude. I love it. Oh, there's a little Dark Knight comic cover right there. It's really quick. I wish they would have shown it a little bit better, but again, it's an attention to detail, and I love it. It's good. You know? Poor Clark. So this is where it gets kind of strange, because this is where I would say give the spear to Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You know? Because she would be the one to do this. And like she can get in close and not die, because Kryptonite's not going to mess with her. Wonder Woman going toe-to-toe with Doomsday solo. And look at her. She's having a good time, man. She's like, look at this fight.
Oh, boy.
Man. That might come back to bite them all in the end, but who knows?
But I gotta go, babe.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like today I'm clocking out early. At least they didn't have Doomsday talk. It would have been super weird to have Zod's voice in Doomsday's body. Give it to Wonder Woman. This is such a crazy scene, because it's like this crazy dust storm and everything. Batman's one little contribution. That was a great arc, Batman, with that shot. That was incredible.
Yeah.
See, I don't know about you. I would have gone for his head, but this is a Thanos mistake, Levi.
Oh, because he takes him with him, yeah. Oh.
So another thing that people kind of criticized about this is that it took basically Dark Knight Returns and Batman fighting Superman and the death of Superman and put them all into the same film, so they couldn't have their own proper films, by themselves. Which I understand that frustration, because you want to watch, if Superman's gonna die, you want it to be a big deal, right? Not just at the end of a huge movie,
Well, Man of Steel got his own movie.
Sure, but in Death of Superman, it's like Doomsday is like the problem that's persisting, and that's Doomsday kills Superman.
Oh, he does. Outright. Wow.
Yeah, and that's kind of and that could have been a separate film. That could have been Man of Steel 2.
How did he kill Superman outright?
He basically punches him to death, if I remember correctly. He gets to a point where he can't be killed anymore, and he just.
Oh.
And I could be wrong on that.
I think I've heard about that, the death of Superman.
Yeah, it's brutal. There's also other stuff where it's it's called Red Sun. It's what if, Clark had dropped into Soviet Russia and grew up, as a communist. That's a fascinating, I think, movie, but they wouldn't do it, a live action like this, that'd be too much. And also the turn to, for Batman and Superman to be buddies now. Just probably an hour or two earlier, Batman would have just thrown Superman's dead body on the ground and been like, sweet, look at this. I did it. Guys, just get a sun lamp out. Just put a sun lamp over him. He'll be fine.
So did it actually kill him?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it actually kill him or just put him in a really deep coma, and then they just jolted him back.
No, they basically, he's dead, and then they bring him
Yeah.
back in Justice League. Via the similar means to how they brought Doomsday back, in a sense. So I guess
we're watching Justice League next. Or maybe we should wait till next
Yeah.
year when the
And Justice
cut
League
comes out.
Yeah, I'm really interested to watch that, man. Like, I'm very curious to see the differences in the additions. Man, that suit looks so good. Like, you can appreciate it so much right here. Just like all the details in it and like the fabric or
Well, I like
I don't
on
even know what you call
Robert's suit too. He's got like the gun that killed his family embroidered in his suit.
Oh, that's like part of the Bat logo, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, I've been endeared to this though. I think there's some good stuff going on in here. I think it's just they moved it too quickly. You know.
They were like, we're gonna speed up the process, and it's like, nope, doesn't work that way.
Yeah. 3 or 4 movies into one movie. And again, this is the Ultimate Edition. This is a 3-hour cut of this film, which I think is probably better than the theatrical cut. But 3 hours is so hard to sell out people if it isn't Lord of the Rings, right? Oh yeah, he foretells Steppenwolf's coming.
Oh.
He's like, I've just been chilling in this blood bath, grapefruit, or I mean, pomegranate bath. I don't know if he would go to prison. Like, I'm trying to think of like what they would do for someone like Lex, for someone that like blew up the Capitol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they'd put him in prison. And I get that this is like, you know, comic booky and these villains have to stick around, but I'm just like, wow. Like the printed word. Perry, get your website all set up, man, because you know. And again, there's like a lot of people who loved Superman in this world, but a lot of people who hated Superman. Another thing too is that you see that Clark Kent they show in the newspaper is dead, and they do have funerals for both of them. So when he shows up again, like, isn't that kind of weird? They're like, Clark, I like went to your funeral, man.
They have a funeral for for both Clark Kent and wow.
Yeah, you'll see them. They kind of interchange here. They're both. You see like the big grandiose one for Superman, and then you see the smaller one, kind of more modest. I guess everybody went home. Man, this I keep forgetting how like gray and dark this movie is.
Very muted
compared to like when you see, muted, or you see Aquaman and Justice League. Even it's just when we watch those, you'll be like,
there is a lot more color to those. Yeah,
such like a classic Midwestern like after a funeral kind of thing. You know, like everybody's got a casserole. Like that's very accurate. So like Clark's body, I forget. I don't think it's here. No, it is here. Oh yeah. So they actually it's like his body, Levi, like is here. Like people saw his dead body in his house. Like
yeah, they bury him,
like,
remember?
Eventually. Yeah, I just think it's weird like in the future, like is anyone at the Daily Planet like Clark? What? Like you know what I mean? They're like yep, it was misdiagnosed. I wasn't dead. Please don't say it's a wedding ring. Please don't say it's a wedding ring.
I think it is.
Yeah, I know. I like that they have a relationship, those two. There's like the two ladies, the kind of the grounding force in his life. I should say it's an engagement ring. It's technically not a wedding ring. Ah, poor Amy. It's okay. She'll see him again.
She should have gone back to rehab. You said
Wait,
poor
what?
Amy. I just think of Amy
Oh, is
Winehouse
that
immediately.
yeah. And like Perry was there from the Daily Planet, you know. Yeah. Oh, there's like some slow mo here too, I think. Oh, one took off like that, like an angel. Oh, that's fun. That's interesting. I guess the news story would be that Superman died saving the planet, right?
Yep.
I think it is interesting though how they have the two funerals going simultaneously like this, like intercut between the two. But then they also started this movie with Bruce Wayne's parents' funeral.
Yep.
You know, like I said, it's kind of a circle back to it. It's I don't know, it's artistic.
It's funny how you don't see the president of the United States; you just hear him.
Yeah, they're like, we're just gonna pay someone to say the lines. There's nobody in that coffin. It's a nice coffin though. Whereas there's a slow motion shell, Levi, I swear, at some point.
Oh, that's a nice casket.
Mm-hmm. That's to allude to the black suit Superman with the silver that they were gonna do in Justice League, and I think that's what they'll bring into it. There it is. I knew it. Or shell casing. Aha. How do you feel about bagpipes, Levi?
Corn.
Oh, is that what you think of them? I just meant like, what
They're
do you think in
annoying.
general of them? Yeah. If Jonathan Davis isn't blowing on it, I don't care. Kind of portending his return right there already. Oh, that little girl looked at the camera. I swear she did. Oh, actually, that might have been his friend from the IHOP in the last movie. That guy she was just talking to. Huh, that's fun.
Let's say, was Bruce Wayne there?
Bruce is the type of weirdo to do this, right?
Yeah.
Like stand in the corner or stand off to the side. Also, Bruce maybe like set up his mom for life, so she doesn't have to work at the diner anymore. Maybe she likes to work at the diner. You wanted to kill him, though, right? I don't know. That's... Yeah, I guess. It's very opposite of what he was saying earlier, but whatever. It's okay. It's such a weird exchange. I like the little hodgepodge visual here. Like people, you could tell that not
Yeah.
all the cups are the same, you know? It's a hopeful message, right? Everybody's kind of coming together over his death. He's just got that feeling, man? Like, an alien's gonna invade Earth. Just gotta know.
So where's your... Hold on.
Where's your what? Watch out. He's so dramatic. Like, how did he do that? That's great. I love it that he knows that Arkham Asylum is the worst. Do you think that's like he's got like a cigarette lighter in that thing? I don't know.
You got to talk about Steppenwolf or Darkseid.
He's kind of more so Darkseid. Which we will probably be seeing him in Justice League now. Oh, by the way, it says 16TK421. It says TK421 because that's a nod towards Star Wars on his jumpsuit right there. Because apparently during the time that this movie was coming out, that Twitter account and the Force Awakens Twitter account were doing like a fun little rivalry back and forth of like which movie was going to be bigger or kind of, stuff like that. It's like, oh, that's a fun little reference.
So we haven't seen Darkseid yet then, right?
No, we've only seen the Omega symbol and then like Steppenwolf.
So what movie do you think we're actually going to see the full Darkseid?
We'll see him in Justice League when they redo that stuff because Darkseid is apparently supposed to be in that movie, like even in that flashback.
We're only going to see him there.
I think maybe because I think there's not going to be like
a Justice League 2.
There might be. The question really is like, it's more so because Wonder Woman and Aquaman did well. That's the only reason this string is continuing, I think.
I didn't understand this part where he just bounces or jumps out.
Well, he doesn't. It's just like the dirt goes up a little bit.
I thought he crushes out
just enough.
Oh.
No. It's just like those little bits go up. So there you go. Okay, so Levi, what do you think upon rewatching
I like it a lot more, actually. Yeah.
Yeah? Not so bad? Do you have a favorite moment or sequence?
I do like the fight scene. Fight scene's awesome. The one where he rescues Martha. It's a badass one. I think that's really good. Yeah.
That's great. Takedown sequence. But I really enjoyed this. Well, thank you for being here and chatting through this. This is the longest movie we've done so far, for sure. So great job. Well done.
Lord of the Rings
and to anybody who made it to the end of this, Yes, Lord of the Rings is next. Yeah, let us know if there's any like other movies you'd like to hear commentaries of. But we are sponsored by our patrons, and they get to vote on that sort of thing. But if there's enough comments, I'm always looking for ideas. But anyway, if you want to tweet at us, tweet the hashtag. What hashtag should they do? Should it be hashtag Martha?
Hashtag BVS. Yep.
Hashtag BVS. Okay. That works. Hashtag BVS. Tweet that at us. I am at JimmyGood013, or you could tweet at Levi, which is at. There you go. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this,
thanks for having me, Jimmy. It was fun.
Hopefully we'll see you again here soon. Yeah. Oh, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. It's so much better to do these with somebody else to talk to, even if we get quiet sometimes, just to listen.
Well, the audience is listening too, I'm sure.
Talk to someone. They're listening. Yes, I hope so. Anyway, let us know if you watch this. If you made it like all the way to the end, hashtag BBS, and tell us what you think of these and how we can make them better. Anyway, thank you. And until next time, just remember to adapt and overcome.